gentlemen. Breaking news, breaking news. Allegedly, well, it's not no allegedly. Jarvis Butts, the essayer of Nasiah Harris, is indeed deceased. I repeat, Jarvis Butts, the essayer of Nasiah Harris, is deceased. Shout out to Pam the Law Intellect for this information.
Yeah, yeah. So many lies that you hear from the net. They don't get her respect. She reporting the truth, not a check. You want an unbiased opinion straight from the chest. Not a bit of confidence or someone here for a check. Tune in, these are thoughts from a lawyer.
And me personally, I've always thought he was going to die. He was going to die in prison anyway. I just didn't think he was going to be took out this soon.
On a mission, who goes so hard, it's like she works on commission. Trolls in the comments might say she tripping, cause they lack the knowledge. They don't know they missing. Got a couple current events that you like. Wanna know about law from the eyes. Tired of all these blogs running lies. Because their agendas are disguised. Tune in to the intellect. Cause I'm sure y'all missing all the facts to the case that she steady is gifted. Someone here for the people, man, it's so uplifting. If you ain't subscribed yet, then you just owe me in facts.
Hello, everyone. It is Pam Esquire, also known as your law intellect. I am racing in from court. Okay, I went to the Criminal Justice Center down there in Wayne County, and the news down there is that Jarvis Butts was unalive. They found him dead at the prison. For those of you that don't know who Jarvis Butts is, he is the person from Detroit who had a prior criminal sexual conduct charge and conviction, did 10 years, got out and decided he wanted to still do the same stuff. All right? And so he was messing with a bunch of young girls, including his own child. And apparently, well, a couple of weeks ago, we covered it. Jarvis Butts pled guilty about a month ago. He was just sentenced a couple of weeks ago. He has lasted about 7 good whole days in the Michigan Department of Correction before those in the Michigan Department of Correction took it upon themselves. And he is now gone. All right? So that is the breaking news for today over here.
Well, the way I hear it, justice is justice. Street justice is justice too.
Detroit, everybody was like, what? We all got alerts almost at the same time. Jarvis Butts is dead, according to news reports. All right? So let's see what one of the news reports has to say. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. She said, please match my donation to support the show. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. You said 7 days. Yeah, I don't even know if he was in there that long. You know, they don't immediately go over to the prison. So I'm just guessing 7 days. But he wasn't.
I'll be right
I'll go
back,
look. I'm
y'all.
gonna see when his picture was. That's what I have to look to see. Because I saw it before. Let me see. Hold on. Hold on 1 second. I gotta clean off my desktop. I was doing so much stuff. You guys come on in. You know what to do. Hit the like button. It's been a minute. I think this might have been one of the last things we talked about collectively. So let's see. I'm gonna come up on Otis. Let's see. So his image date was March 16th. So yeah, about 10 days. Yep, he's about 10 days. Here he is right here. March 16th of 2026 is when his image date was. See, you guys, he looks a bit perplexed, as he should have, because he probably knew this was not going to be an easy bid that he was going to do. So let's pull this up here. Jarvis Butts, man who murdered Detroit teen Naziah Harris, found dead, police sources confirm. Jarvis Butts, the man who was recently sentenced for the murder of Detroit teen Naziah Harris, was found dead in a Michigan Department of Correction facility in Jackson on Thursday morning. Multiple law enforcement sources confirmed to 7 News Detroit. Michigan State Police say they were contacted at 6:45 a.m. on Thursday for a death investigation. A spokesperson for MSP will not confirm the name of the inmate. On March 12th, Harris was sentenced to 35 to 60 years in prison. In addition to Naziah's case, Butts was sentenced to 5 other cases of criminal sexual conduct. All of them were to be served concurrently. So then they go over he was sentenced to second degree murder, 35 to 60 years, second degree criminal sexual conduct with the person 17 years or older, third degree criminal sexual conduct with the person 13 to 15 years old, 3 counts of second degree criminal sexual conduct with people under the age of 13. Prosecutors say Butts murdered her teen after finding out she was pregnant with his child. Her body has never been found. So there's that. The case is still developing. But according to Channel 7 WXYZ Detroit, Jarvis Butts, the man who murdered Detroit teen Naziah Harris, was found dead. And apparently the state police came to the prison at 6:45 a.m. And there is that. He didn't take it to the grave because part of his plea deal was, just in case you didn't know, I did post the press release. Part of his deal was he had to say what happened to the body. And the Wayne County prosecutor, Kim Worthy, she in the statement said that they were satisfied with what he told them. So this was apparently information that was not going to be told to the public. It was just for the family, even though we all were invested and of course we wanted to know. But apparently this was something that was going to be for the family to know, and that's it. Thank you so much, Tanya B. I appreciate you. Thank you, Mrs. C. Thank you, Hope Andrea. I appreciate you. So yeah, please hit the thumbs up. For those of you that are just now coming in, Jarvis Butts, it is being reported by our news stations in Detroit, was found dead today. So let's see who else. Let's see who else on here talking. Let's see. We got WDIV. They have the same thing. Let me see if they got any new. Oh, now they're saying the Michigan Department of Correction has confirmed it in this one. Let's pull up Channel 4 and see what they have to say. So, man sentenced for Naziah Harris's murder found dead in prison 2 weeks later. Jarvis Butts, the man convicted of Naziah Harris's murder and multiple sexual assaults, has died in prison. He was found dead on Thursday, March 26th. The Michigan Department of Correction confirmed. So there's that. So apparently they're saying that they confirmed it. On March 12th, he was sentenced to 35 to 60 years in prison for killing Naziah Harris. He was also
As it
sentenced to
should
10
have
to
been.
15 years in prison for 5 other sexual assault charges, which would have been served concurrently. According to the Michigan Department of Corrections website, he was sent to Charles Egler Reception and Guidance Center in Jackson County. His earliest release date was September 26, 2059. Officials said his death is being reported as a suicide. For those of you that was wondering why, allegedly he just killed himself, according to this. Okay.
Took the coward's way out.
Yeah. So according to Channel 4, they're saying he committed suicide, reportedly. Officials said his death is being reported as a suicide. Mm-hmm.
Took the coward's way out. Hold on. He took the coward's way out because he didn't want to deal with the person he was. Jarvis Butts was a demonic piece of shit.
I don't know what y'all think. Y'all think suicide? Shouldn't he have been under like 24-hour supervision or something because of
No,
the high profile things that
general
he's trying to do?
population is
I
where
don't know.
he should have been.
That's how it's being reported, as if it is a suicide. And you said he's a coward. That's from Chris
Yeah,
J.
he is a coward.
I'm sure I said I didn't think his state would
Took
be
the
that
coward's
blatant,
way
but
out.
the suicide portion,
Ooh, I need to get rid of this beard.
very interesting. That's what Channel 4 is reporting. They're saying, I wonder if they're going to do a press conference. Seems like they should do a press conference on this.
Okay, Nick and Knight is
Jay
talking
said, I'll
about
be the
this
details
too.
of his suicide. I feel like it's Epstein suicide. You know, there are different suicides. So I don't know. I don't know. Bedside BK said the pain, the trauma, the sorrow, may God be with all those who have been harmed and hurt by these horrific abuses. Amen. He can't look himself. Well, he couldn't look himself in the mirror in the first place because he came with the mask. Everybody was like, well, say it with your chest. You were out here doing all of this and texting people and
Yeah.
knowing your records can be subpoenaed and getting young girls pregnant and giving little kids STDs and everything else you were accused of doing. Say it with your chest. Why are you walking up in here with the mask on? A lot of people were
Again,
offended because they felt
coward.
like, if you're this tough, why don't you just, we want to see you. Look up, look at people. He was like this the whole time with a mask on. He knew that his state was going to be terrible over there at the NVOC. So, I don't know. They saying it's suicide. Is it really suicide? I don't know. But that is what's being reported. Yeah, yeah, it was the one little girl that she was like 4, I think. I don't know if that one was his child or not, but yes. No, she did name. He already named where he would not have been able to get the plea deal if he did not name where she was. So that wouldn't be it. Now maybe he left a note. I wonder if he left a note behind and gave more details about everything and really like poured his guts out at that point. That may be, for certain parts of the family, because some people feel like the family was part of the problem. So
They
it might be more
was
closer to us as a
there was
community
very much the problem.
that were like upset and couldn't believe that all of this was going on.
And speaking of the family, the grandmama need to go to jail and that aunt need to go to jail. Screw them.
Yes, he told the prosecutor that was part of the plea deal. He had to tell them everything and what he did with the body. Now that doesn't mean they recovered the body, because it may have been there was the body was in the water in Rouge Park. It's just a rumor. So it may have been that he just told them, and maybe it fit into some of their investigation, so they believed it. But he said, "Oh yeah, that family was disgusting. I can believe suicide because he knew what was to come, regardless if it was not. I'm not surprised by his demise." That's from Sunshine Blaze, and she said she ain't surprised. I'm just Jay said, "Nah, they probably pressed him once he touched down, stating either we gonna take you out or you do it yourself. They don't play that ish." Listen, I tell people all the time, even criminals have a moral compass to a degree. All right, there are certain people we all know are not considered uh, worthy of even being an inmate, and those that mess with kids are one of those. What is interesting about Jarvis Butts is that he did a 10-year bid in the Michigan Department of Corrections before, but you also have to look at it like he was young. I don't know how young the other person was, so I don't know if it was they're 17 and you're 21 or something like that, but he was like in his early 20s when he did his first bid. So maybe people felt a little more okay, I don't know, when he was in there, but this was like, first of all, it was televised. Everybody knew about it. They knew about it in the
Yep.
prison. They have TVs in their little rec rooms.
And
And
access to
it was just
newspapers.
disgusting. And it just kept, the cases kept piling on and piling on. And every other week it was a new case. And the circumstances seemed like they got more heinous every time. It was like they got, the kids got younger. You know, it was just awful. So, I don't know. What's up, Jam 1212? Good to see you. Yes, they did find her ID. Um, yeah. There, I think it was a piece of clothing. It was something that was near Rouge, of which I'm sure their investigation somewhat corroborated what they were going with when he said whatever he confessed to. But it was something that, again, the media was not made privy of, and I think that's why people are outraged. Like, well, we want to know what's going on. You know, we want, why don't we know? So let me see something. I feel like they should be doing press conferences or something. What is going on?
Right.
Let's see. Let's see. Y'all let me know. Y'all keep your ears open to the media. But yeah, for those coming in, please make sure you hit the like button and consider subscribing to the channel. We have breaking news on Jarvis Butts, who admitted to killing Messiah Harris. Jarvis Butts sentenced. Hold on one second. No, that was something different. Uh, yeah, I don't see them not. They need to do some type of press conference or something, because we the people want to know. We want details. We want to know how he did it, if he hung himself, if he shanked himself. We want to know. We want specifics. We want to know what happened. We figured it was self-inflicted. I don't know. I thought he got choked out, or I thought this, and maybe I watched too much TV. In my mind, in my television and his mind, I felt like somebody broke off a piece of an object or something, and then somebody slipped the CO some money, and they walked away to go talk to somebody else, and then they let him in the cell. Whoever he cellmates with let him in the cell, and just was like, but again, that's just my television mind. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Oh God. They scared they may get sued. Shouldn't he be on suicide? That's what I was thinking. It seems like he would be on suicide. He would qualify for that. So how did this happen? So now there's gonna have to be an investigation on how this even could have happened.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, that's why I don't know. Unless the CEOs didn't care either. I don't know. I don't know how this could have happened on site. I don't know. Sweet Jesus, didn't expect that. He was in pop. He was in. What's the name of that place I just told you all? He was in. Let me see. He's at the. I've never been there. The Charles Egler Reception and
Hold on,
Guidance
y'all.
Center. His security level. He's the level 2. So he's kind of in like a pod type situation. It's not like he's level 4. They'll have you almost like secluded. You're more like restricted. He's level 2. I don't know. But they have his image date is March 16th. So yeah, he's been in there. It hasn't even been 2 weeks. It's been less than 2 weeks that he's been in there. Good morning. Yeah, they say it was suicide. That is what's being reported. That it was suicide. You said, I hope no one would even think to sue. They put him in population for a reason. Okay. Well, I'm going to put the link in here if anybody wants to give any thoughts before we get off here and I actually do
Well, here's my thought on Jarvis Butts. Good riddance. Good riddance. Burning hell.
some more work. Well, I don't work today, but y'all know what I'm saying. You said he couldn't handle it. He knew what was up. He couldn't even handle the scrutiny in the court. You wearing a mask the entire time.
Coward.
He was still at the reception center. It was just a pass through to his home prison. You only stay there a few days to weeks for intake before moving to base prison. Thank you so much, Sunshine Blazing. Yeah, I was like, I never heard of that. I never heard about that place, but they did say reception, so I kind of figured that. But yeah, typically when I go to the prisons, I actually go to the prisons of which they're housed for those for that time. Make sure you guys hit the like button, please. I appreciate it. You said he was unalived. No, it's being reported that he unalived himself. That's what's being reported. So he was still in intake. So he didn't even want to go to the prison, is what y'all saying. He was like, no, I'm good. So how did that happen? Was he like in the bathroom? I don't, it's just so many unanswered questions. I'm sure we'll be back because so like I said, according to channel, that's channel 7 again. Hold on 1 second. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Thank you so much. They have Jarvis Butts, the man convicted in Isaiah Harris's murder and multiple sexual assault cases, has died in prison. He was found dead on Thursday, March 26th. The Michigan Department of Correction confirmed. Butts, 43, pleaded guilty to multiple charges in 6 different cases in February, including second-degree murder and the killing of Harris. On March 12th, he was sentenced to 35 to 60 years in prison for killing Isaiah Harris. He was also sentenced to 10 to 15 years in prison for 5 other sexual assault charges, which would have been served concurrently. According to the MDOC website, he was sent to Charles Egler Reception and Guidance Center in Jackson County. His earliest release date was September 26, 2059. MDOC officials said his death is being reported as a suicide. Okay. That's for all of you that are just now coming in. The death is being reported as a suicide, and he was at Let me look up this place. The Charles Egler. Let's look this place up. It is in. I know it's in Jack. They have a few spots in Jackson. Oh, okay. So let's look that up. You're right. It's an intake spot. I didn't doubt you though. But let's look up this place. This is where he was at. So he didn't even make it to the prison. So this is the Charles E. Egler Reception and Guidance Center. The Charles E. Egler Reception and Guidance Center serves as a quarantine facility responsible for intake processing of all male offenders who are adjudicated adults sentenced to a term of incarceration with the Michigan Department of Correction. Prisoners with new commitment and parole violators are received at RGC for assessments, screening, and classification prior to their placement in general population prison throughout the agency. RGC sits in 53 acres and houses the 152-bed Dwayne L. Waters Health Center. RGC, along with the Parnell Correctional Facility, was carved out of the old state prison of Southern Michigan. The Reception and Guidance Center contains 3 separate units. RGC main complex houses quarantine prisoners pending completion of their reception center processing. C unit houses level 2 security prisoners primarily with medical issues. And Dwayne L. Waters Health Center provides medical services to male and female prisoners throughout the MDOC and includes telemedicine support services, inpatient care, and outpatient treatment. Prisoners receive a variety of psychological, medical, educational, and security classification evaluations upon arrival at RGC. Prisoners are all medically screened by professionally trained correctional health care staff during the intake process. Prisoners are subjected to 12 days of intake processing prior to being classified for transfer to a general population facility capable of meeting their medical program and security needs. Prisoners are here temporarily until they are transferred to their permanent facility. Prisoners with significant medical needs or prisoners involved in parole revocation hearings are held in a facility until their medical or due process concerns are resolved. Let's look at the security, because apparently, I don't know, you're just there to get your paperwork together, and you end up killing yourself, allegedly. The perimeter of the facility is protected by a double-chain link fence equipped with a non-lethal stun fence, RV Tech, and concertina wire. A perimeter security vehicle is utilized for security reasons when necessary. Well, that's the outside. That has nothing to do with the inside. So it sounds like the inside. The outside is secure. But the inside, I don't know what was happening. Did he go to the bathroom and never came back? I don't know. But they said 6:30 in the morning, they found Jarvis Butts dead. You don't think he did it? She's McHale said, I don't think he did it. You said this is very Epstein-like. That's the first thing my son said as well. Someone's gonna be in some deep trouble over this. It's gonna be interesting. Yeah, it's gonna be an investigation. So we'll be talking about this a few more times because it's certainly going to be an investigation. And so basically he wasn't even watched. That's from Miss Scorpio vibes out. He was at the intake. So yeah. Never even made it. So for those that were talking about the gin pop, we're learning this all at the same time because we're speculating right now, based on the reports. But there's been no formal press conference, which I don't see not happening in a case like this. Let's see. Let's see here. Let's see. I don't see anything on her. You said they were waiting. Bible lady said they was waiting on him at intake. Might have been. No, he didn't get past intake for always forever. He allegedly unalived himself before intake. And Dree says, as I said before, we're gonna find out he's a contortionist and shanked himself 40 times in his own back. Case closed. I don't know how deep they're gonna look into this case, but the reason why I think, and again, this is just my opinion, why I think they are going to, aside from, I mean, just all of the facts pertaining to this, is that our MDLC has been under scrutiny, very high level scrutiny, because of the conditions. And the warden or whoever is over all of the prisons apparently just announced this new program. Let me see. I think it's called the Save Act. Hold because it's been, I know there was a hearing up on the hill in Lansing here, because I told you all the women's correctional facility, they're filled with mold. Like, there's literally a young lady named Crystal Clark who has mold growing out of her ears.
Oh, Lord.
And that's how bad it is. And we only have one. So Secretary, she calls Congress. Hold on. Let me see. What is the name of that lady? But literally, that has been the new thing. Like now, and the violence and the sickness and not being able to, the health care is terrible. So they're saying just the humanity. I understand some people feel like they don't deserve it, but they're still human beings. And you got some people in there that didn't even do anything. Like, they've been wrongfully convicted and they're thrown in with people that may have pled guilty to some of the crimes that they're in there for. But let's see. What is her name? Let's see.
I'm gonna try to get some of this at what Nick and Knight talking about too before I go.
I'm trying to see the name of that lady's. She literally just announced it. There's supposed to be some new initiative that they're trying to do, alleging that, I say, humanity for prisoners. Humanity for prisoners. Hold on, y'all. Make sure you hit the button. So MDOC launches Safe Prison Initiative to improve safety and security correction operation. Hold on. Yeah, let's pull this foolishness up, because I don't know how they're about to hold on. Shit. So here it is. MDOC, this was just March 20th, okay? We're at March 26th. MDOC launches Safe Prison Initiative to improve safety and security of corrections operations. Sounds like a big failure right now. The Michigan Department of Corrections has launched the Safe Prisons Initiative to help monitor and improve safety and security inside prison facilities. Key components of the initiative include providing improved evidence-based prisoner programming to promote positive behavior, reviewing segregation needs and infrastructure availability, implementing technology improvements that will assist officers in day-to-day operations, and conducting targeted training at facilities with increased critical incidents. In addition, the department will be implementing new tactics to improve employee recruitment and retention, such as emerging leader development, hiring process enhancement, and improved marketing strategies. Quote, the department is committed to our core mission of public safety, with the vast majority of day-to-day prison activities being conducted in a safe and compliant way. said MDOC Director Heidi E. Washington, quote, our staff, those we supervise, and the friends and family of both deserve nothing less than our best when it comes to their well-being and the safety of the ones they love. So yeah, that already ain't work apparently. So there's that. So for those that just came in, Jarvis Butts was found dead at the intake facility. Never made it to the prison. Never made it to general population. And it is being reported that he committed suicide. And all of this is happening amongst us, or the director of the Michigan Department of Correction, just implementing a safe and security type initiative. It's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Chris said they still need to bring charges against Shannon, her mother, and any other adult that knew he was assaulting kids. Legally declared broke, said, I'm not all upset to hear he's dead, but I am curious as to who is behind his death. Yes, I agree. If it's an officer, they should be fired because it could lead into offing someone that doesn't deserve it. Thank you so much for the comment. I think we all want to know exactly what happened. So maybe he had already got it since he'd been locked up. Just couldn't take any more, coward. But did he ever tell where the baby remains were? Yes, he told the prosecutor's office as a part of his plea deal. He told the prosecutors, we're not going to know unless the family decides. I guess they want to let the public know. But you guys, y'all out there in the public was dragging that family, so they probably ain't telling us nothing. They like, we not telling y'all a thing. And you said, I don't care if it's murder. I don't, as long as it wasn't murder, I don't care if he unalived himself. Okay. So, yeah. So there's that, guys. That is the breaking news for the day. Make sure you guys hit the like button. Thank you all to the 1,000 that was up in here with your girl. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. If they have some form of a press conference, make sure you want to get.
Okay, and that's it for Pam. Let me hear what Nick and Knight talking about.
Untold, stuff like that, to where, oh, there's more bodies than me.
Hopefully, y'all can hear
This
it.
person was actually a monster. And then they run and breathe. So I mean, you know what? Let's be clear. We're not gonna find out that he was actually a monster. We know that. Oh yeah, he was. Yeah. I'm just saying, like on a scare, like on a Netflix documentary scale, on a Netflix documentary scale, like this person was actually. I just can't even I can't even fathom a man I brought into my home. I'm messing with, and he's messing with other people on top of that, his kids, and I'm just like, oh, I would rather have a man. Don't get you an ex-gal with a vibrating, and be happy. Well, thank you so much, honestly, for calling us in. I appreciate you so much. For those of you guys who are just tuning in, Jarvis Butts was found deceased today in his cell. It is reported that he took his own life. He took the coward way out.
Yep, coward's
There is
way
going
out.
to be an investigation, an autopsy to basically speak about what exactly happened, how he exactly took his life. But so far, it's just being reported that he was found deceased, and it is being reported that he was the ultimate taker of his own life. So let me just give you guys this quick video for those of you guys who didn't see it on my other live. This is Fox 2 Detroit.
Department of Corrections says Jarvis Butts was found dead in a prison in Jackson.
Butts pleaded guilty to second-degree murder and the death of 13-year-old Uzziah Harris. He was just given a sentence of 35 to 60 years just 2 weeks ago. The Detroit teen's body was never found. Butts was also sentenced for sexually assaulting children. Now, at this point, the Department of Corrections says that it's being reported as a suicide. closing.
All right. So, let's go to Darwin. Hello.
Hi, Nick.
Hey,
Can
how
you hear?
are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for letting me in. So it's been confirmed
Hopefully y'all can hear
as
this.
to unaliving himself.
Yeah, that's what we said. Yeah.
Okay, because I was holding out hope that it might not have been um at his own taking, but 'cause that's what I had wanted to really ask, because I had put the question in the chat. But it's disgusting that he took the coward's out. It really is, and it's sad because he was given that female and others that were responsible, because I feel like there's people just as responsible as Jarvis, because had it not been for them, he would have never had the opportunity to
Exactly.
do what he did to that little girl.
And not only did he have the opportunity to do what he did, they didn't even report it right away.
Exactly. And the fact that it all her death could have been, I'm sorry, her unaliving could have been prevented had Shannon listened to her daughter and took action when her daughter told her what he did to her.
Right. But they were too worried about what people were gonna think, so they continued to, even if they didn't want other people to know about it, they still continued to allow the girl to go with them. This is like,
Right. I believe she did it more so for the fact that she didn't want to lose the man. You know, that's why she kept it, in my opinion, for herself and didn't report it. She wanted him more than she wanted to protect her daughter and acknowledge the fact that he was not healed from what she had already known prior to him even getting her pregnant with the first child. She knew what he was, and she allowed that predator in her household. And that's the disgusting part. And as far as the grandmother is concerned, she should be somewhat held responsible too.
Damn right.
yeah, I don't understand how the prosecutors was like, yeah, we need to hear from Ben at the impact.
Exactly. But the thing too that got me the most was the fact that because plea deals normally uh, you're supposed to get something out of it, and especially in a case like that, the actual um, information as to what happened to the victim should have been, and normally it is part of the plea deal, and you get that information prior to proving anything. And also, I discussed it at the judge, because even though he was given a plea deal, the judge did not have to accept it. The judge could have ruled that it was
Yeah,
not,
the
but
judge could
said
the
no.
judge could
And
give
I
him
mean,
life
but
in
let's think about
prison.
it. 30 to
I
65
wish it
years
had
already
had the
passed. By the
death
time
penalty.
that he got out of prison, that was pretty much a life sentence for the judge. They, he did have terms that he had to tell where her body was. He did give a location. However, the location that he stated that he had unalived her was a location that was already searched and uncovered her
Exactly.
body. Now, I understand that it's like, okay, let's not give him any type of plea, but at the same time, you have to understand that this isn't just a situation to where it affects just Messiah, but it's like we know he's guilty, we have evidence. Put him on a trial, although we want to know the details, we want to know all of the information. You got to think he had several victims other than Messiah that would have to go up. They would have to testify. They would have to see him. There was a girl who I think was at 4 at the time that things happened, and he allegedly gave her an STD. They would
Right.
have to relive those things on the stand. They would have to re-traumatize themselves. So although we want to hear what happened to Nasiah and we want to hear all the details, we have to be selfless and understand the impact that going through a full trial when we know he's guilty, we know he did it, we know he's guilty, and why waste taxpayers' dollars and put on a trial? Why re-victimize these young girls into having to relive this and go through all this testimony when just throw the book at him? Like, throw, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't a life, like an L sentence, but he wasn't getting out. And life
Right.
wasn't going to be easy for him.
Right, that's true. But also when you look at, and that was the good part of the plea deal is that a lot of those victims did not have, especially the young minor ones, did not have to get back on stand and tell what happened to them, which you're right, it further traumatized them. But also when you look at it on the other end too, with all the charges that was dismissed, how did the other victims feel when those charges were dismissed against them, against the inmates? So you know, it's a double-edged sword there.
Yeah.
And my other point that I wanted to make was that to me, I didn't think he had enough. If he did, being that he said that it was confirmed that it was unaliving, he didn't appear to be the type to me that would take his own, life. But I think that if he did do that, because the jury is still out in my book, if that's what actually happened, that he actually did it himself, that jury is still.
Okay, let me pause this. The state of Michigan at one point did have the death penalty. Allegedly, either Whitmer or the governor before Whitmer got rid of it. So unfortunately, that's why in the state of Michigan, there's no longer a death penalty. Which I was actually a little surprised that Michigan doesn't have the death penalty, but that's what happened.
Some kind of impact on him. Because if you think about it, the whole time, every time he came to court, he never looked up. He didn't even look at any of the witnesses in
We'll
the
just
front of
listen
it.
to people's opinions
And I think
about
maybe
the Nasiah
maybe
Harris
that
case.
monstrous part of his
We're gonna listen to a couple of
mind of
these,
his, he
then we're
did
gonna get
something
on out
different.
of here.
And he just couldn't live with the reality of what he did to his daughter, especially when she said also that it's because of him that he has changed not only her life but her sexuality.
Yeah, that was heartbreaking at the same time.
Yeah. So that's basically, what I want to say. But it is good in the sense too, and I must agree with you that the victims, especially like I said, these young girls, did not have to get up there and be further traumatized because not only would they have to tell their story by the prosecutors, they'd be cross-examined by the defense. And I wouldn't want to see anybody to go through that, especially being as young as a lot of those victims were.
All right. Thank you so much,
Thank
y'all.
you.
I appreciate you. Cassandra, we about to go to you. Sit down. All right.
Okay, I'm sorry. I just wanted to come back on and say that, with the other caller after me, we have to protect these children, because there are so many Messiahs out here. Even for my family. Situation, and it was exactly the same scenario. It was her aunt's baby daddy, that was violating her. Um, and when it was brought out, um, no one believed her. They treated her as if, she was, the one that did something wrong, to make her feel like she was promiscuous. And, she's 9 years old, and not only did he do it to her, but he did it to two other children in the family. My cousins, her nieces as well. And like this man
Wait a minute,
got
this is a
off
family
on
member. Hold on. What the
basically,
hell?
you know, nothing really
I
happened.
hope y'all
She
can hear
was
this.
a little bit of jail time, has to register as an offender. She went on to have more children by him, my cousin. And it's just like so sick, to know that the adults, and everybody around, nobody protected these children, you know. My cousin that I initially was talking about, she was a foster child, you know, and my aunt took her in. Um, and she was supposed to protect her and take care of her. And they all failed her, but they treated her as if she was the one who did something wrong. You know, and it's just awful. You know, it's led me to the point where I don't even want to deal with them anymore because of how they dealt with the entire situation and how they dealt with these children, you know. Um, I remember it was a time, you know, my cousin, you know, she was having a birthday party and she asked if my daughter could come over there. Have you lost your mind? My child could never, ever come over there or come around any of you people, you know, because yeah, things would be totally different with me. You know, it's, you know, just God forbid. But it's just like I said, we have to protect these children, you know, and when your kids come to you and they say something is wrong, you believe them, you know, you investigate, you know. Make the child feel as though they've done something wrong. It's just wrong. It's just awful. And yeah, I just wanted to say that, you know, put that out there that yes, we as a community as a whole gotta do better with, you know, protecting these children and be more vigilant and you know, listen to these babies, you know. Um, because this stuff was going on in my cousin's home, and she was right there in the next bedroom. You know, how could you not know that something like this is going on? You know, um, but you know, again, she wanted the man. You know, she wants to keep the man. She wants to have a man because you know her self-esteem is so poor that whatever man gave her any.
I want to say this: if if any of you ladies ever become that desperate for a man, seek help.
Daughter too, and like I said, you better be very, very careful, very, very careful, because what happened to someone else, you know what I'm saying, you better hope it doesn't happen to you and yours, while you didn't believe that family member, you better hope it doesn't happen to you with your daughter and this sick predator, so I just wanted to say that, put that out there. Can you hear me? I can hear. Is it? All right, Tiffany. Do you want to be on camera? That's fine. All right, thank you, Cassandra. Hopefully your family member got the help that they needed.
Okay,
It's an unfortunate
I'm
situation.
gonna go ahead and end this here. I may come back. I don't know. I'll see y'all later. Like, share, subscribe. See y'all later. Peace.
Oh,